In this lesson, we will create a mask to hide part of our banner layer. Okay, so I want to create a small mask to hide this little edge of my banner layer here to make it look like this part of it is going behind the 22 and that solid there. So an easy way for me to do that is to create a mask. So there's two ways to create a mask, and that's going to be with the shape tool or with the pen tool. So we'll talk about the shape tool first. So the mask that I'm going to be creating is going to be inside of this circle underscore number underscore banner, because if I create a mask right on top of this, it's going to mask the whole layer. So quickly, I'll just show you that with the rectangle tool. If I draw a mask, it's going to affect everything. So that's not what I want. We're going to go inside of this pre-comp. So go ahead and double click that. And now we have each of these pieces isolated. So now I can draw a mask on just that banner because I have access to that individual layer. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I'm just using my mouse wheel to do that. And we'll come up here where we had the rectangle tool before, and I'm going to drill down and get that ellipse tool. So I'm going to try to draw a mask here using the ellipse tool, and we'll just kind of mask out that area right there. Now I can go in and change the options of my mask so that I'm not seeing what's inside the mask, but seeing what's outside the mask. And there's two ways to do that. I can either choose to invert the mask, and I just hit that button there, or I can change the mask's mode by dropping that down and going to subtract. So subtract is going to say I want to see everything on the outside of the mask. Add is going to say we want to see everything on the inside of the mask. And then inverted is just going to toggle you between those two views. So it's up to you which one of those you want to choose. Sometimes you will need to choose one over the other in kind of specific situations. Now, right now, this doesn't look terrible, but this isn't the best mask we could possibly draw. So I want to talk to you about using the pen tool to create your mask. So we see that the mask that we created was added on our banner layer, and we just had that layer selected as we drew the mask. So I'm going to go ahead and select that mask layer and hit delete, and that takes the mask away and also takes away the mask folder basically that it creates for that banner. Now I want to create a mask with the pen tool, which is going to give me a little bit more control over the kind of mask that I'm making. So just select that pen tool. And if you've ever worked with the pen tool in any other program, you kind of understand that it works with vertices. So I'm just going to go ahead and click right here above that area. And then I'm going to move down and click just about where I imagine the circle intersects with the front part of this banner. So probably right about there. And then with my mouse still clicked, I can begin to drag out those anchor handles and change the curvature of that line that I'm creating. So I'll go ahead and move that mask right up there. And now before I let go, I'm also going to hold down the Alt key, and that's going to break those handles from moving together. And I'm going to move this one so that it hovers right on top of my anchor point, and that's going to allow me to draw my next handle in any direction that I want instead of it forcing me to continue to create a curve. So I'm going to go ahead and draw right along this edge here. And we'll go ahead and use those handles too. I'm still holding the mouse down. And I'm just allowing that curvature to follow the red edge here, but not to really cut down in very much farther down from where this vertex is. And then this next part, I can just close the path, and then I can drag this out. Now, before I go ahead and just let go of this, you see that this is controlling both of those anchor points. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it out so that it is covering up the mask on that far left side, and then I'll hold Alt to bring it back in on the side that I want to really be close to the edge of that solid. So now we've created a mask that's very tight, exactly the positioning that we want, but I still need to change it to a subtractive type of mask. So we'll come down here to the mask that's been added to our banner layer, drop that down and choose subtract. So now I'll grab my selection tool just so I can deselect that, and we'll see what we've created. So now we really are creating the illusion that that banner is going behind our layer that is this circle. So very interesting thing you can do with the creation of that mask, and it's really pretty easy. You'll probably want to play around with the pen tool a little bit to get used to some of those keystrokes and some of the shortcuts that you can use to create different types of masks, but it's a very powerful tool that you can do a lot of different things with. So in this lesson, we learned a little bit about masking and how to create a more custom mask by using the pen tool.